Chosen one, lock your attention on my voice right now. That urge to scroll past this message is not random. Resist it. The enemy has been working overtime against your peace for one very specific reason, because he knows exactly what shifts the moment you receive these words. You did not find this by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here tonight. God brought you here. This is a divine appointment scheduled before the foundations of the earth. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like for you. The atmosphere in your home has been inexplicably heavy. You wake up at 3 in the morning with a strange weight on your chest. You try to explain this invisible pressure to the people closest to you, but they just stare at you blankly and tell you that you are just working too hard. But your spirit knows the truth. This is not normal exhaustion. You walk into a room and the conversations suddenly stop. You feel like a complete stranger in your own life. The people you used to laugh with now look at you with quiet suspicion. You are not imagining this shift. You are not being too sensitive. What you are sensing in the spiritual realm is absolutely real, and I am confirming it to you right now so you can finally stop doubting your own intuition. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly why they tried to end your spiritual life. I will expose the specific lie that has been keeping you trapped in this dark cycle of isolation. And at the very end of this message, I will give you the exact declaration that seals everything heaven just spoke over you. Do not click away. Stay with me until the very last word. If you leave before the end, you leave before the verdict. Let us look honestly at what you have been carrying lately. You have always been the one everyone else comes to with their brokenness. You give so much of your energy and receive almost nothing in return. They drain your light to fill their own empty cups. And when you finally need a safe place to rest, the room is completely empty, and you look around only to realize that you are entirely on your own. This sudden isolation is not a coincidence. The attacks against your mind have escalated in ways you cannot logically explain. You feel a constant low hum of anxiety pressing against your thoughts. The enemy wants you to believe you are losing your grip on reality. He wants you to internalize this pain and blame yourself for the growing distance, because he is absolutely terrified of your hidden potential. They have called you too deep and too quiet your entire life. They told you to tone it down and stop taking everything so seriously. You started to believe that your sensitivity was a fatal flaw. You dimmed your own light just to keep the people around you comfortable. But dimming your light never actually stopped the spiritual warfare against you. It only made you feel more miserable and completely exhausted inside. You are standing between two identities right now. The old version of you is dissolving, and the new version is actively being birthed. The friction you feel is the sound of that transition. It hurts because the old structures of your life cannot hold the new frequency you are emitting. You are outgrowing the very environment that once felt like home, and that is a truly terrifying process to walk through all by yourself. But I need you to anchor your spirit to this truth. The intense warfare you are experiencing is actually a massive confirmation. It is the absolute proof that you are moving in the right direction. The enemy does not waste premium attacks on people without premium assignments. He targets the ones who carry the capacity to dismantle his kingdom, which is exactly why the attacks against your peace have been so unrelenting lately. Your spiritual adversaries thought they could crush you quietly in the dark. They wanted to bury you under the weight of rejection and loneliness, so you would never discover who you truly are. They tried to end your spiritual life before it could fully bloom, but their plan failed miserably. You are still breathing. You are still standing. And right now, you are finally waking up to the beautiful reality of your own calling. Do not let their confusion make you question your own clarity. The spiritual realm is buzzing with activity concerning your life right now. The shifts happening around you are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to detach you from everything that was silently holding you back. You are being positioned for a massive breakthrough, and the enemy is doing absolutely everything in his power to blind you to this reality. You look at your phone and realize no one checks on you. You are always the strong friend, the one who holds everyone else together. And yet when your own world falls apart, the silence from those you helped is absolutely deafening. You wonder if you are simply hard to love. You ask heaven if you did something to deserve this total abandonment. They made you the scapegoat for their own unresolved issues. Whenever something went wrong, it was always somehow your fault. You absorbed their toxic energy because your empathic heart just wanted to bring healing to the situation. But they did not want to heal. They only wanted someone to carry their heavy baggage so they could walk away completely free. You have spent years trying to fit into spaces that were constantly shrinking your spirit. You contorted your personality to make them comfortable, but the rejection kept happening anyway. It felt like a dark curse that you could not escape no matter how hard you tried to be perfectly good for them. But let me reframe your entire reality right now. I need you to listen to this next truth very carefully. That painful isolation you have been calling a punishment was never actually a punishment. It was preparation. God did not remove the crowd from your life to abandon you in the dark. He removed them so he could finally speak to you without their constant interference. Your isolation is not evidence of your disqualification. It is the undeniable evidence of your selection. When heaven wants to promote someone to a new spiritual frequency, it always pulls them into the wilderness first. The wilderness is not a place where you go to die. It is the sacred place where you go to be completely rebuilt from the inside out. The people who pulled away from you recently did not reject you. They were simply sensing a spiritual frequency they could not yet understand. Your vibration shifted higher. They walked away because your spiritual growth made their comfortable stagnation feel absolutely unbearable. You were never actually rejected by those people. You were divinely redirected. What is leaving your life right now is only making room for what is truly meant for you. Heaven had to aggressively clear the room because the assignment on your life requires a level of focus you could never achieve surrounded by that noise. You are not losing your mind. You are gaining your mantle. Think about everything you have survived up to this point. The betrayals that should have broken your spirit. The silent battles you fought in your bedroom when no one else knew you were crying. You did not just survive those things by pure luck. You survived them because the divine seal on your life prevented the enemy from successfully finishing his job. The enemy tried to end your life because he saw the blueprint of your future. He knew that if you woke up to your true identity, his influence would be permanently destroyed. So he sent distractions. He tried to drown your unique voice in a sea of constant self-doubt and heavy anxiety. They always told you that your deep sensitivity was a weakness. They lied to you. What you carry inside of you is not a wound at all. It is a highly calibrated spiritual weapon. The very sensitivity they told you to hide is actually a divine radar system. It allows you to discern hidden intentions and shift the entire atmosphere of any room you enter. You were never broken, and you were never a mistake. You were simply built for a completely different frequency. You are a chosen vessel. The heavy pressure you have been feeling is not the weight of the world crushing you. It is heaven forming a diamond out of your darkest seasons. Every tear you cried in secret was actually watering the seeds of your upcoming breakthrough. The season of feeling misunderstood was required to detach you from the approval of ordinary minds. If you had fit in perfectly with them, you would have stayed trapped in their limitations forever. Heaven made you a misfit on purpose, so you would seek a much higher calling. And once that profound truth clicks into place, everything in your reality begins to shift. You stop mourning the losses and start recognizing the divine protection behind them. But there is another layer beneath this revelation. Coming up, I will show you exactly how heaven used this same pattern to prepare others for greatness. Let this truth settle first. You are not the first person to walk this lonely road, because this pattern of severe isolation is actually woven throughout all of spiritual history. Every great mantle carrier had to face the exact same dark wilderness. Heaven always hides its most powerful weapons before deploying them. You are currently in the hidden phase of your divine journey. Think about the story of Joseph for a moment. His own brothers hated him because of the heavy favor he carried, so they threw him into a dark pit and left him there to die. He was completely betrayed by the people he trusted the most. But that pit was never meant to be his grave. The enemy designed it for death, but heaven repurposed it for his ultimate preparation. The betrayal Joseph experienced was the exact vehicle that moved him toward his true destiny. If his brothers had celebrated him, he would have never reached the palace. The people who abandoned you recently did you a massive favor because they pushed you out of a comfortable limitation and forced you into the crucible. And the crucible is where you change. A crucible is a vessel used to melt down raw materials at extreme temperatures. The heat inside the crucible is absolutely agonizing, and it burns away every single impurity until only the pure gold remains. The emotional pain you felt last year was the fire of that crucible. The enemy turned up the heat to destroy you, but he accidentally refined you instead. All of your people-pleasing habits were burned away in that fire. Your deep need for external validation was completely melted down, and the false identities you wore to survive are now gone forever. What is left standing in the ashes is the pure core of your chosen identity. You are stronger now. You are highly focused and spiritually awake. Look at the life of David when he was just a young shepherd. When the prophet came to anoint a new king, David was not even invited to the gathering. His own family left him out in the lonely fields. You know exactly what that feels like, because you have felt overlooked and forgotten by the people who should have celebrated your existence. But David was not wasting time out in those isolated fields. He was fighting lions and bears in total secrecy, and he was developing a lethal accuracy while nobody was watching him. Your hidden season of depression and anxiety was your training ground. You fought spiritual beasts in the dark of your bedroom. You learned how to survive the impossible. The anointing oil always requires a severe crushing process. An olive does not produce precious oil by simply resting on the branch, but it must be pressed heavily under extreme pressure. You have felt completely crushed under the weight of your circumstances. But that heavy pressure was actively extracting the spiritual oil from your life. The enemy is terrified of the anointing you now carry. He knows that your spiritual frequency can break chains in your family lineage, and he understands that your presence alone can disrupt his demonic structures. That is exactly why he tried to silence your voice so early in your life. He wanted to abort the mission before you discovered your power. You have been through a spiritual metamorphosis. Think about the dark isolation of a cocoon. The caterpillar does not just grow wings in there, but it completely dissolves into a liquid state before it is rebuilt into something new. You felt like you were falling apart. You felt like your entire personality was dissolving into absolute nothingness. But you were not dying in that dark place. You were simply molting. You were shedding an old skin that could no longer contain your expanding spirit. The isolation was the protective wall of the cocoon, because heaven had to shield you from outside opinions while you were in that fragile state of profound transformation. The process is almost complete. You are emerging from the dark with a new level of authority, and once that truth clicks into place, you are ready for the next layer. There is a specific spiritual weapon you acquired in the darkness, and I will expose exactly what this weapon is and how it functions. But first, you must let this historical revelation settle deep in your spirit. Here is the hidden truth I promised to reveal to you. The weapon you acquired in the dark is your heightened spiritual discernment. You can feel the true energy of a room the second you walk through the door. People can smile in your face and say all the right words to you, but your spirit immediately registers the quiet lies hiding underneath their friendly voices. The enemy is absolutely terrified of this specific ability because he operates mostly in the shadows of manipulation and quiet deception. He relies on ordinary people being completely blind to his subtle traps. But you are no longer blind to the spiritual reality around you. Your deep sensitivity acts like a massive spotlight, cutting through his dark illusions. This explains why certain relationships had to end so abruptly. When your spiritual frequency shifted higher, your discernment became incredibly sharp. You stopped tolerating the hidden toxic behaviors that everyone else just accepted as perfectly normal. The people operating in lower vibrations felt entirely exposed by your pure light, and they walked away because your presence demanded a truth they refused to give. You literally vibrate at a frequency that disrupts demonic assignments. That is why they tried to make you feel completely crazy. They desperately wanted you to doubt the very radar system that heaven installed inside of your spirit. If the enemy can make you question your own intuition, you will easily fall back into his manipulative traps. But your spirit is too awake now. They tried to end your spiritual life by exhausting your physical body. The strange sicknesses and the chronic fatigue were never just random health issues, but they were coordinated attacks designed to drain your energetic reserves. When you are physically exhausted, it is much harder to hold a high spiritual frequency. The enemy used heavy weariness as a weapon to lower your vibration. But this strategy failed because your power does not come from physical energy. Your strength comes directly from the divine source that lives deep inside of your soul. Even when your physical body was completely tired, your spirit was still actively fighting the silent battles in the heavenly realms. You are a massive threat simply by existing in the room. You do not even have to speak. The spiritual realm recognizes your authority even when ordinary people ignore you. Demons tremble at the pure frequency you carry because it constantly reminds them of the holy light they lost. This is exactly why highly toxic people are naturally repelled by your calm energy. They cannot stand the heat of the truth that radiates from your spirit, so they will either attack you or run away. You are currently walking into a season of massive spiritual vindication. Every single tear you cried in the dark is being converted into heavy spiritual currency, and the things that were violently stolen from you are being replaced with something much greater. Heaven is actively clearing your path and removing the hidden obstacles that held you back. You are stepping into the fullness of your calling. The enemy wanted to end your life to prevent this exact moment from happening. He always knew that an awakened chosen one is the most dangerous force on the entire earth. You are no longer the broken victim of your difficult circumstances, but you are the victorious warrior who survived the hardest battles and came out holding the prize. Your frequency has officially been upgraded. You can feel the shift in your own body right now. The heavy anxiety that used to paralyze your mind is slowly losing its grip on your thoughts. You are beginning to breathe easier because the spiritual atmosphere around you has been thoroughly cleansed, and the heavy chains of expectation that others placed on your shoulders have finally been shattered. You are entirely free to just be yourself. You are radiating a light that exposes everything hidden in the dark. But there is a reason why your silence is sometimes even more powerful than your words. And once you understand this profound truth, you will never feel powerless in a room again. Coming up next, I am going to reveal why the enemy is absolutely terrified when you stop speaking. But first, let this reality settle. The enemy is absolutely terrified of your silence because your silence is not empty space. It is a massive spiritual gathering of raw energy. When you stop responding to their bait, you completely cut off their supply of validation and drama. They want you to argue with them so they can drag you back down to their chaotic vibration. But when you choose absolute stillness, you force them to face the emptiness of their own reflection. Your silence acts like a powerful spiritual barrier that bounces their negative projections right back to where they came from. You are no longer wasting your premium energy trying to explain your divine value to people who are fully committed to misunderstanding you. You are learning the holy art of stepping back and letting heaven fight the battle on your behalf. and that is a major sign of spiritual maturity. This is the deeper meaning behind the metaphor of the eagle molting its feathers. When an eagle reaches a certain age, its heavy feathers become completely weighed down with dirt and calcium deposits, and its beak grows too long and curved to tear food. It loses its ability to fly high and hunt effectively. It does not just accept this slow decline, but it flies away to a high, isolated rock in total secrecy. On that lonely rock, the eagle begins a painful process of slamming its old beak against the stone until it breaks completely off. It waits in absolute isolation until a sharp new beak grows in its place. Then it uses that new beak to pluck out every single one of its old, heavy feathers one by one. It sits naked, exposed, and completely vulnerable to the harsh elements of nature for weeks. You have felt exactly like that naked eagle on the isolated rock over the last few months. You felt completely stripped of your old defense mechanisms, your old friendships, and your familiar comfort zones. You felt utterly vulnerable and deeply exposed to the cold winds of judgment. But you were not being destroyed by the weather. You were actively regenerating your spiritual power from the root. Now, your new beak has officially grown back. Your sharp new spiritual feathers are coming in thicker and stronger than ever before. You are preparing to launch off that isolated rock and soar into a much higher altitude where the enemy can never touch you again. The altitude of your new calling is completely out of reach for the low vibrational entities that tried to end your life. They tried to trap you in a dark cycle of constant survival mode. They wanted your mind to be perpetually occupied with bills, health emergencies, and fractured relationships, so you would never have the mental space to think about your global assignment. But heaven has officially broken the back of that survival spirit. You are moving out of the realm of barely scraping by and stepping into the realm of absolute dominion. You are being upgraded from a simple survivor into a powerful mantle carrier. The authority you carry now was paid for with the heavy currency of your endurance. Every time you chose to forgive instead of seeking bitter revenge, you deposited massive power into your spiritual account. Every time you chose to stay kind in a cruel world, you earned a higher rank in the heavenly hierarchy. The spiritual realm recognizes your scars as medals of elite honor. The enemy sees your scars and remembers exactly how his most intense weapons completely failed to take you out of the game. He knows that if he could not crush you when you were weak and alone in the dark, he has absolutely no chance of stopping you now that you are fully aware of who you are. You are a dangerous force because you have completely lost your fear of the dark wilderness. You know how to find water in the desert, and you know how to hear the voice of God in the middle of absolute silence. You have been thoroughly tested by the fire, and you came out looking like pure gold. The old version of you could have never handled the magnitude of what is coming next, but the new you was built specifically for this. Your presence is changing the spiritual landscape of your entire family line. But as you step closer to your ultimate activation, you are going to encounter a very specific type of resistance from people who pretend to love you. Coming up next, I am going to expose the exact dynamic of why your sudden growth unsettles the people who used to manage your smallness. Let this truth land deep in your spirit. The people who used to manage your smallness are feeling deeply unsettled right now. They were perfectly comfortable when you were completely broken and constantly needing their daily validation, but your sudden spiritual growth has entirely disrupted their perceived control over your life, and they do not know how to interact with this highly elevated version of you. When you start vibrating at a massive frequency, it acts as a direct mirror to their trauma. Your pure light forces them to look at the dark corners of their own souls. And instead of doing the hard work to heal themselves, they simply choose to project their heavy insecurities onto you. They call you arrogant because you established strong boundaries. You must stop internalizing their sudden distance as a personal failure on your part. Their departure is actually a profound confirmation that your spiritual upgrade is working perfectly. Heaven is actively pruning the dead branches from your tree, because if they stayed attached to your life, their stagnant energy would eventually poison your entire root system. It is incredibly painful to outgrow the people you genuinely thought would stay forever. You wanted to take them to the next level of the spiritual journey with you. You poured your premium energy into their empty cups, and you truly hoped they would wake up and recognize their potential. But you cannot force someone to heal if they love their brokenness. You were never meant to be everyone else's personal savior in this short life. You were only meant to carry one specific assignment that heaven perfectly designed for you. The enemy used your beautiful empathy as a trap to keep you endlessly exhausted. He convinced you that establishing healthy distance was somehow selfish and cruel, but protecting your holy anointing is actually your absolute highest priority right now. Notice how quickly the people who claimed to love you turned into your harshest critics. The moment you stopped being their emotional dumping ground, their fake affection suddenly vanished into thin air. That conditional love was never real love in the very first place. It was merely an attachment of convenience, and it shattered the moment it no longer served their selfish agenda. You are walking into a spacious clearing where the air is incredibly thin and pure. The ordinary crowd cannot survive at this high altitude because their spiritual lungs are not fully developed yet. You will have to walk alone for a while, but this temporary solitude is exactly where heaven downloads the heaviest revelations into your open spirit. God cleared the room so he could bring in the right people. There is a tribe of chosen ones who speak your exact language. They understand your deep heart. They will not drain your precious energy, and they will never require you to constantly explain your divine value to them. But you will never meet them if you keep looking backward. The enemy wants you to focus exclusively on what you have lost during this massive transition. He paints a deceptive illusion that you are being punished. He wants you to grieve the old relationship so heavily that you completely miss the new mantle. But the absolute truth is that everything leaving your life right now is a glorious redirection. You are finally realizing that losing toxic access to certain people was your greatest victory. The heavy weight you carried for years was mostly just their unhealed emotional baggage. Now that you have finally dropped their heavy bags, you are running toward your destiny with terrifying speed. Your spiritual adversaries are watching this acceleration with absolute horror and total panic. You are moving faster than the enemy ever anticipated, but as you approach the absolute climax of your breakthrough, there is one final block standing directly in your way. It is not an external demon. It is something quietly operating deep inside of your own mind. I am going to expose this hidden block next. Let this truth regarding your relationships settle first. You have officially dropped the heavy baggage of their toxic expectations. Now, the spiritual atmosphere around you is crackling with raw electricity. The enemy is completely out of external options because you finally learned how to close the door. You are no longer reacting to his petty distractions. You are standing in the center of your own power. You can actually feel this massive shift in your physical body. Your spiritual senses are becoming incredibly sharp and highly attuned. The veil between the physical and spiritual realms is getting thinner every single day. You are seeing clear synchronicities that ordinary people completely miss. Heaven is speaking to you through numbers and subtle signs. The old version of you would have absolutely crumbled under the pressure of this intense transition. You used to panic when things felt out of your immediate control. But look at how calmly you are walking through the fire right now. You are not begging for a rescue mission anymore. You realize that you are the fully equipped warrior heaven sent to fight. Your spiritual adversaries are watching your evolution with total panic. They thought the intense trauma would make you bitter and resentful. They hoped you would curse heaven and walk away from your divine assignment entirely. But you did the exact opposite. You took the bitter poison they fed you and magically turned it into the ultimate medicine. You are no longer just surviving the daily attacks on your mind. You are actively taking massive ground in the spiritual realm. Every time you choose peace over chaos, the enemy's dark kingdom shrinks a little bit more. You are reclaiming the territory that was violently stolen from your family line generations ago. You are the ultimate cycle breaker. There is a new and heavy authority resting on your words. When you speak a prayer into the atmosphere, it is no longer an empty wish. Your words now carry immense legal weight in the spiritual courts of heaven. Demons recognize the tone of your voice, and they immediately back away. They know you have the divine backing of the highest authority. I know you felt deeply frustrated by the long delay in your life. You watched other people achieve success so easily while you were stuck in the dark. But their path was a simple paved road, and your path is a rugged mountain climbing expedition. You needed much stronger spiritual muscles to survive the high altitude of your specific calling. The heavy oil of the anointing is officially pouring over your life. This holy oil makes you completely untouchable to the standard weapons of the enemy. The fiery arrows he shoots at you simply slide off your spiritual armor. You are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, but you are not experiencing any fear because you are fully protected. You are currently stepping into the final narrow corridor before the grand hall of your destiny. The darkness is fading away, and the bright lights of your new reality are finally coming on. The heavy season of preparation is drawing to a beautiful close. You are about to step onto the main stage that heaven meticulously built for you. The enemy knows he has completely lost the external war against you. He can no longer use toxic people to drain your premium energy because you established iron boundaries. He cannot use your physical circumstances to break your faith anymore. You have proven that your trust in God is absolutely unshakable regardless of what happens around you. Since he cannot attack your fortress from the outside anymore, he is desperately searching for a tiny crack on the inside. He is looking for a hidden back door in your mind. He wants to find one last lie that you still secretly believe about your own worth. And this is where the spiritual warfare becomes incredibly subtle and deeply psychological. You are carrying a massive amount of light inside your spirit, but there is a quiet internal block that is preventing that light from fully expanding outward. It is a subtle compromise you made with the darkness a very long time ago. You thought you were protecting yourself, but you were actually building a small cage for your massive destiny. This final chain must be broken before you can step into the grand hall. And once you see this hidden block for what it truly is, the enemy will lose his very last grip on your life. Coming up next, I am going to gently expose the deepest lie hiding inside your own heart. Let this profound realization of your power settle first. You have survived the worst external attacks of your entire life. You built strong walls against highly toxic people. The enemy cannot easily break you from the outside anymore. But here is the part no one wants to say out loud, and I say this with nothing but pure love for your spirit. The thing blocking your final breakthrough is not a demon. It is a quiet compromise inside your mind. This is not an accusation against your beautiful heart. It is the divine diagnosis that sets you completely free. Some quiet part of you has been deeply afraid of your own massive power because you saw how your pure light intimidated ordinary people. You learned to hide your massive strength just to keep the peace. You minimized your spiritual gifts so you would not stand out in the room. You genuinely thought you were just being very humble. Religious people told you to stay quiet and submit. Society told you to wait patiently in the back of the line. But false humility is actually a massive insult to the God who specifically designed you for a heavy assignment. Shrinking your presence does not serve heaven at all. It only serves the dark kingdom that wants you paralyzed. You are secretly terrified of what happens if you fully shine. You worry that stepping into your true authority will bring even more painful attacks. You subconsciously decided that staying small is much safer than standing tall. because standing tall makes you a highly visible target for the enemy. This is the subtle lie he planted in your spirit. He wants you to police your own potential, but staying small never actually kept you safe from the fire. It only kept you miserable and deeply unfulfilled inside. The severe attacks came anyway when you were quietly hiding in the shadows. If you are going to face intense spiritual warfare no matter what you do, you might as well fight from a position of absolute power. You cannot outrun the heavy calling on your chosen life. Heaven is waiting for you to drop the fake humility today. God wants you to stop apologizing for your unique brilliance. You were never meant to fit neatly inside a box that was designed by people who completely lack your level of spiritual vision. You are a massive force of divine disruption. You are here to shatter dark cycles, not to comfortably maintain them for other people. Today is the day you officially break your agreement with smallness. You must completely evict the fear of success from your tired mind. You are not responsible for how others react to your pure light. If your high frequency blinds the people around you, it simply means they need to close their eyes while you walk right past them. You will never dim your glorious light for them again. The spiritual realm does not reward your constant hesitation. It responds directly to your bold and unapologetic decisions. When you finally decide that you are entirely worthy of the heavy mantle you carry, heaven immediately dispatches massive armies of angels to secure your path. Your internal shift creates a massive earthquake in the spiritual realm. The demons are packing their bags and fleeing. You can actually feel the heavy chains snapping off your tired mind. The paralyzing self-doubt is officially leaving your physical body. A fierce and holy confidence is rapidly taking its place right now. You are stepping out of the dark cave of isolation, and you are walking directly into the bright sunlight of your absolute highest destiny. Nobody can stop what is currently activating inside of you. The long season of painful preparation is totally complete. The lonely wilderness has successfully finished its difficult job. You are completely ready to take back everything the enemy stole from your family, because you are no longer afraid of the massive power you hold. It is time to make a legal decree in the heavenly courts. It is time to seal your divine victory forever. You have listened to my voice tonight for a profound reason. Your spirit brought you here to receive this exact activation. We are going to cross the finish line right now. I promised you a heavy declaration that would permanently break the enemy's grip on your life, and we are going to speak it into existence. The atmosphere is fully charged and completely ready for your strong voice. And now comes the pivotal moment where everything officially shifts. This is the critical juncture where your old reality completely dissolves. I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now, close your eyes, and place your hand firmly over your beating heart. You are not just speaking empty words into the air tonight. You are making a binding legal decree in the courts of heaven. Repeat these exact words out loud with absolute authority. I release the heavy need to be constantly needed by everyone else. I completely release every hidden agreement I made with smallness. The enemy told me that my deep sensitivity was a fatal flaw, but I now recognize it as my greatest spiritual weapon. I forgive the people who abandoned me in my darkest season. They walked away because my frequency shifted far beyond their comfortable comprehension. I step fully into my divine assignment tonight. I boldly declare that my painful isolation was always meant for my ultimate preparation, and it was never a cruel punishment from God. My season of sitting quietly in the dark is totally over. My spiritual breakthrough is not coming tomorrow. My massive breakthrough is already sitting right here inside of my own hands. I walk forward knowing confidently that I am fully chosen, and I am heavily prepared for the massive spiritual battles waiting ahead. I am standing exactly where heaven always intended for me to be. The heavy chains of deep anxiety are permanently broken off my tired mind. I am completely free. Take a very deep breath right now, and allow that incredibly heavy truth to completely wash over your tired soul. The fierce spiritual warfare you endured was never an accident. The intense heat of the crucible did not destroy your spirit. It only burned away the heavy lies you carried, while it carefully preserved the pure gold of your true identity. You survived the absolute worst of it. Before you close your eyes tonight, you must fully recognize the staggering magnitude of the spiritual victory you just accomplished. The kingdom of darkness threw its absolute heaviest artillery at your mind. They sent deep confusion and physical exhaustion to break your firm resolve. But every single weapon formed against your holy purpose completely shattered upon impact. You are truly a walking miracle. The enemy has absolutely nothing left to use against you tonight. His darkest weapons malfunctioned the second they touched your holy armor. You are a completely transformed vessel. The fragile person who walked into that dark season of painful isolation is not the same person who is walking out of it today. You have grown a heavy spiritual armor. Your voice now shifts the spiritual atmosphere whenever you choose to speak. Demons recognize your upgraded frequency, and they immediately flee from your powerful presence because they know you carry the full backing of heaven. You no longer have to beg heaven for a small miracle. You are stepping into the room as the living miracle they prayed for. The old limits are entirely gone. Some messages do not merely inform your mind. They actively awaken your sleeping spirit. And if something stirred deep inside your soul just now, you are finally ready to embrace the massive spiritual shift taking place in your life. You felt this truth land in a place that logic cannot reach. This is your divine confirmation today. The heavy oil of the anointing is never meant to stay hidden. It is meant to be poured out into a world that is completely starving for pure light. You were filled up so that you could eventually pour out. The wisdom you gained in your darkest season is the exact medicine that will heal the broken people heaven sends your way. Your heavy pain was never wasted. You are not alone in carrying this incredibly heavy frequency. There are other chosen ones walking this exact same lonely path, and they are desperately searching for this exact confirmation tonight. The enemy wants to keep them completely isolated and heavily discouraged. He wants them to believe they are going entirely crazy. But you hold the key to their freedom. This message was placed in your path for a very profound reason. It was meant to permanently shatter the heavy illusion of your absolute loneliness. You now have the divine authority to break that exact same illusion for somebody else who is crying in the dark right now. You are fully activated today. The divine assignment officially starts right here. Everything you endured over these last few years was not wasted time. It was meticulously preparing you for this exact moment. The severe pain was never meant to break your spirit, but it was designed to build your spiritual endurance so you could carry the heavy mantle. The deep peace you are feeling right now is completely real. It is the peace of heaven finally settling over your life. You are not the misunderstood outcast that the world tried to label you. You are officially the chosen one today. You do not need anyone else to give you permission to step into this massive authority. Their validation is no longer required for your spiritual survival. You have the direct backing of the highest court in the spiritual realm. Your unique presence is a divine gift to a broken world. You have officially released every single agreement you ever made with smallness. The toxic cycles of delay and extreme self-doubt are permanently broken off your mind today. You are no longer dimming your brilliant light just to keep ordinary minds comfortable. The old version of you is entirely gone. You are stepping into the present moment with a fierce and holy confidence. I need you to hear this truth and let it anchor your soul forever. Your massive breakthrough is not coming tomorrow. It is already here. It is already moving powerfully through your current reality. You do not have to chase after miracles anymore, because the miracles are actively finding their way to you right now. You are standing exactly where you are supposed to be. The dark illusion of your profound isolation has been entirely shattered. The enemy wants you to believe you are walking this difficult path completely alone. But the absolute truth is that heaven has surrounded you with an invisible army of fierce protectors, and you will never have to fight these dark battles by yourself again. You are guarded on every single side. The spiritual warfare you survived was just the final test before your ultimate promotion. There is a global tribe of chosen ones who speak your exact spiritual language. They understand the heavy weight of your deep heart. Right now, someone else is sitting alone in their dark bedroom, completely overwhelmed and desperately begging heaven for a clear sign. They feel exactly like you felt before you heard this message today. They are crying out for a profound confirmation. This is where your new spiritual assignment officially begins. You have the power to break the enemy's cycle of isolation for someone else. Share this message with someone who has been called too sensitive their entire life. And send this to the person who always gives too much, but receives absolutely nothing in return. Be the divine answer to their desperate midnight prayer right now. The world is systematically trying to bury this pure frequency. They want to keep chosen ones completely disconnected and unaware of their true power. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all of your notifications today, because you cannot afford to let the algorithm hide the next major revelation about who you really are. We are building a massive army of awakened spirits, and you belong right here with us. Some words require a physical action to permanently seal them in the earthly realm. If your spirit fully recognizes the massive shift that just occurred, I want you to acknowledge it right now. Type the word yes in the comments below to firmly anchor your declaration. Let the enemy see your public agreement with heaven. Let your simple comment be a monument of your spiritual victory today. The long and painful season of hidden preparation is officially complete. You are completely activated and fully ready for the bright future ahead. You are not going to walk backward into the toxic environments you just outgrown, because the heavy chains of those old attachments are gone, and they are never coming back. Tomorrow morning, you are going to wake up feeling completely different in your physical body. A new lightness will replace the heavy anxiety that used to paralyze your mind. You will walk through your day with a steady and unshakable confidence. The people around you will sense the massive shift in your spiritual frequency, and they will absolutely marvel at the pure light you carry. You are fully protected from the dark. You are deeply loved by the Creator. You are finally home.